Well, hi everyone, I'm Willem,
And I'm Tim.
and this is Hear Me Out Pitch. Well, for anyone who didn't notice, we missed last week, and that happens.
Yeah, it does.
Sometimes your throat just dies on you, and you start talking like Winnie the Pooh, and it's just great. You go to Arizona and you just die. Wasn't me though.
No, it was me. It was me. My friends and I, we went down to Arizona. My wife came with, and we helped one of our buddies move. And while we were down there, I ended up developing something. I don't know what it was. My guess is it was so dry that my throat decided to give out on me, and I got dehydrated, and I ended up losing my voice. And I'm still recovering from that. My throat's still pretty dry, so if I cough today, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try not to.
He was sounding like Winnie the Pooh the whole time. Oh, bother.
Yeah. I sounded like Winnie the Pooh, and I made everybody laugh, especially people at the Grand Canyon, and it was pretty great.
I just,
Oh, bother. Oh, bother. Oh, bother.
it just echoes through the whole Grand
Uh-huh.
Canyon. Well, speaking of Disney, we are having a very fun. Sorry, there's something in my hallway. Just the lady's coming by with the trolley, I guess. We don't know. It's weird.
Mhm.
Anything from the trolley, dears?
Thanks, Tim. That's what I'm going to hear every time I hear that noise now.
Good.
But speaking of Disney, we have decided to tackle Wish today. And well, I don't know. I'm torn. Okay, so I think Tim kind of discovered last night that I am a Disney fanatic.
He's not one of those. He's not a Disney mom,
No.
but he's about as close as you can get without being a Disney mom.
There's very few Disney movies that people can quote around me that I won't get. So, absolutely love Disney, and I'm kind of torn. I didn't hate this movie. I think it captured the Disney spirit. It just, I don't know. I don't know. It had a lot of callbacks and had a lot of fun things, and it just disappoints me that this was the 100th anniversary movie, and I just feel like we could have gotten more. And I even challenged Tim to really think about what we could do with the main villain or what he would have done differently, and it kind of
He
turned his own
asked me.
pitch.
He asked me to Dungeons and Dragonsify the villain.
Yep. So, but I do. So I want to start off with. Well, actually, I want to ask you first, Tim. What was your overall opinion? What'd you like? What you really dislike? Like,
I didn't hate it.
is it rewatchable to you? Like, will you throw it on someday with your kids?
I'll watch it with my kids. I will watch it with my kids. But I'm not just gonna turn it on just because. It's not one of those movies that I'm ever gonna be in the mood to watch. Like Lilo and Stitch, for example. That's an example of a movie that if all of a sudden I just decide, hey, Lilo and Stitch sounds like a fun movie, I'm gonna watch that. I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna watch it. I'm never gonna have that with Wish. Never gonna have that with
It's
Wish.
a movie snack, not a movie meal.
Yeah. I Yeah. It was genuinely, it was a good movie for the first 25 minutes. 20 minutes, first 20 minutes. And then once it almost felt like Disney forced it was almost like the king was forced to be the bad guy. Like he went from being the super chill guy to in an instant being like, okay, get the frick out of my house. Screw you, screw your family, get out, dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow, etc. And it just felt
So maybe they could have had a better transition of that.
the transition was very quick, very abrupt, and I didn't like the king as the bad guy. I
So
felt like we could have had something else.
I've been trying to wrap my head to compare him to other Disney villains. So since this is the Disney 100th anniversary, and since it did have a lot of callbacks and a lot of attributes, it had talking animals.
It had a callback to every single mainstream Disney movie that came before it.
It really did, or at least it had a whole heaping lot of it. If there was a princess type movie, there was a thing for it. There was a callback to a fairy godmother all the time. Literally, King Magnifico, when he's starting to turn to the more darker side of magic, he summons these hands that look just like Ursula's. And so I was thinking
Mirror,
about
mirror on the wall.
yeah, mirror mirror on the wall, which was awesome. And even some of the callbacks by just being silly, like, oh, you wish to fly? Well, we might as well just send you to Neverland. You're like, oh, geez, that's funny. Funny bunny. But I've been trying to wrap my head around like other Disney villains, and I think that right off the bat, they just were the bad guy.
Yeah.
Ursula was introduced straight off the bad guy.
You
Jafar.
you knew who the bad guy was from the beginning of most of these Disney movies.
I think
From the
they just-
beginning.
Maybe they just made us. Maybe we just loved him right off the bat because he was just. They just built him up to be, and maybe that's why it hurt. Is
He was
because of
charming.
how they did a good job setting him up to be like, this is a king.
Mhm.
Like I'm like, I don't think I've ever really seen a king in this aspect. I know we've had King Triton, but I've never had like a king like this. Like, holy crap, this is like a kingly king, like someone of a kingdom. I think of most kings in the Disney lore, and we really don't see a lot of them. The Sultan, yeah, that's different, but he's kind of wacky, kooky.
Yeah,
King Triton.
there's the king from Cinderella, and he's more of a duke.
Yeah.
There's the king in Sleeping Beauty. He doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just we don't really see them interact with their citizens, I think. And so I feel like they really were trying to show him as the people's champion. So I think some of I don't even know where to go with this because I know you kind of started with the pitch, but I kind of want to go with a few questions real quick.
Yeah.
Just again, this is just so we have a big Disney guy here, and I know you love Disney too, but I also know you're very much of a fantasy and I don't know. I just feel like this conversation will be a lot of fun. But I was thinking to myself, because the main issue with the movie was, or at least the issue, like the I'm not talking about issue. I'm talking about the driving force of this movie is King Magnifico is hoarding all the wishes himself. He takes your wish from you. He has you think of a wish. He keeps the wish. You forget about said wish, and you live your life. So my question is, how could they have done that better? Because for me, it just doesn't make sense to be like, because he just says, think of a wish. And it's like, well, I thought of other characters like Scrooge McDuck. Scrooge McDuck is like, oh, I want to be the richest person in the world. I really can't believe that if Scrooge McDuck lost his wish to be the richest person, I don't feel like his desire to be rich would be gone. I don't know. I feel like there was just that was the flaw I found in it. Because like Cinderella always says, a dream is a wish your heart makes. I know that's kind of what they were playing on.
Yeah.
But like, how would the other Disney characters deal with King Magnifico and how bad would it affect him?
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the way that they portrayed wishes was it's the heart's greatest desire, right? That's what you're giving up. But that changes. And that was even brought up in the movie. Someone was like, "Can I trade my wish? Like, what if my great wish that I gave you isn't what I want anymore?" And I think that's the issue that I had with it, is that your greatest wish is going to change as you as a person change. Sometimes that won't be the case. Like Asha's Saba, he wanted to be an influence to future generations, and that was his wish. He wanted to influence the next generation and inspire them, and that's a wish that maybe wouldn't have gone away. But something like, I wish to see the stars. That was my greatest wish when I was super little, right? I really wanted to be an astronaut at one point for all of like 3 weeks. And then I realized that I'd essentially be wearing a diaper my whole life, and I decided that's not worth it. But things like that change. And what I think could have changed with this movie is it could have been more of a choice. Because the way that it felt was, and I think this is how it was. Everybody gave up their wish. Everybody.
Yeah, once
in order to live there, they had to give up their wish.
Yeah.
And it could have been more of a choice, I think. If you want your wish safeguarded, the way that I would fix this, I rewrote a good portion of this movie just as a starting point for my own personal pitch. And the way that I have wishes working is that it wasn't that King Magnifico wanted to just hoard all the wishes. It was more, he's a good king, a magnificent king, if you will, who wanted to protect the wishes of his people and honor them. And so he's keeping them safe rather than keeping them hostage. And I think that's more of how it should have been, instead of him being, power-crazed king. I would have had him be more genuine and caring about the people and their wishes. But I'd also have him be hesitant and be skeptical because he doesn't want to mess up. I don't know. I'll get to my pitch later after I finish answering your questions. But that's kind of it's kind of how I would fix the wishes thing, because I don't think that one wish is going to stay the same for everybody their whole lives.
And I don't think your one wish is your driving factor. And so going back to, this is Disney. Wishes are a big part of Disney movies. A wish, your motivation, your driving force. You think, name a random Disney character, and I'll try to tell you what their main wish would be.
Anna
from Frozen. Anna her main wish was to get outside the castle. She wanted to get out and explore the castle and just be out there. Same with Rapunzel, same with Quasimodo. Those three are the forced introverts. They grew up forced and imprisonment. I feel like Anna, Rapunzel, and Quasimodo would be like best friends.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be out there, but they couldn't, until they finally were set free. So, just things like that. And it's like, if Quasimodo would have come up to Magnifico with his wish, a part of me loves it and hates it, because I've been thinking about all these movies. I imagine Quasimodo hobbling up, I'm going to try really hard not to. I love these characters. These are like my friends.
Yeah.
I just imagine him like hobbling up, and King Magnifico, like, "Oh, Quasimodo, what is your wish? Hold it deep." And, he sees it. And does and so when he takes that, would Quasimodo no longer wish to go outside? Would he just sit up in the cathedral and just ring bells aimlessly? Like that's terrifying to me. That if that's really how the wishes work, I don't know. And I think like that, it's just like, and same with Rapunzel. If she came up and say, "I want to see the lights," and then King Magnifico takes that wish, and then, ugh. I think one line of the movie that made me just kind of sad was Magnifico says, people come here because they can't make their wishes come true. They're too hard. The voyage is too long, and it's just impossible for them to do it. And so they give it to me for safekeeping. And it's like, why? Why can't I try to go out and do this on my own? I don't know. I just felt like, why would you want to give that up?
I know. The whole basis of this story feels weak to me. Just because when giving up your greatest wish, I don't know. My greatest wish for a really long time was to find someone that I would be happy with, someone that I could marry and be happy with forever. And I found that someone.
Aw.
Imagine if I had given that up when I was 18. I wouldn't be married. I would be single forever. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I wouldn't have what I have now.
I'm just kidding.
I realized that I was kind of calling you out without calling you out. I wouldn't have what I have right now, and I would feel empty.
So I feel like it is kind of a weak basis. It's because how would King Magnifico let you find love? Like, how would he grant that? Would a person just come out of the crowd on that island and just be in love with you? Like, it's weird. Like, how does he make those things come true? Like, oh, you get to be a powerful seamstress. Here's some magic scissors, and you're like, that's lame. I don't know. This movie has really been making me think. It makes me think about all the other Disney movies, and I think that's probably why it's kind of awesome to me, because I'm like, huh. Sorry, I'm gonna bring up a lot of characters now then, because I think of Hercules.
His wish was to fit in.
Yeah.
Find out who he was.
Yeah. Would he have just given up? Would his powers have been taken away?
Would he be content just being a son of a farmer?
Would Stitch have just stayed a awful little monster who just didn't care and wanted to stay lost and not fit in with anybody?
Mm-hmm. Would Aladdin have stayed a street rat?
Again, Stitch, Hercules, and Aladdin all could probably be really good friends because they don't know who they are and where they are.
Yeah.
You can find a lot of archetypes in Disney characters. Cusco, same thing. Well, the thing is, that's an interesting one to talk about, because what would Cusco's wish have been? He didn't really have a wish. He just didn't care because he had everything. He probably would go up to that king, go, "Give me your throne." I don't know. Yeah, until he learned his lesson. So, So that's why it's like, I don't know. I don't mean to, sorry for everyone listening. I do not need some weird Disney, what's that word called?
Crossover.
No, theology.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need that. It's like, well, my life has been full of life lessons from Disney. So anyway, I think
true. I mean, that's what Disney was for.
Yeah.
Was life lessons.
And I think that was so good at becoming something really, really powerful. I think if we had better understanding or just a better setup, it would have been imagine it being more of a setup of desperate people, coming to King Magnifico, and they just are I need to take this odium, give me your pain. I think of a grieving person who can't have their loved one back. King Magnifico probably can't bring people back from the dead. So for someone who wishes to be with their lost family again, maybe be a blessing. But what happens if I don't know. I just feel like there could have been so much here. And again, that's kind of why I really was excited about this movie and why it fits so well with our podcast, because it wasn't terrible, but if we can just turn the dials on a few things, this could have been something worthy of being Disney's. Like, this is Disney's 100th year. It was Disney's 100th year. And we just got a movie that fell flat, and it's disappointing.
The callbacks were fantastic, and it was very much the 100 years of Disney feeling. But the rest of the movie, the story itself felt like Swiss cheese.
I think I will say that I really did love most of the characters.
I agree. I felt like a
I
lot of
loved
the characters
Asha.
were great.
I don't think I would add or take away any of them. I just would have wanted to expand more.
Mhm.
Like, I really wish they would have done more with Simon. But you know what? I think
I
now
agree.
that we're kind of getting into what we would have changed, and I really would recommend everyone to see this movie. We won't go into high detail of what happens.
It really is a good movie to watch once.
Yeah.
And watch it with the family, watch it with kids, teach your kids to make sure they never let go of their dreams and their wishes, right? To keep pursuing them, but at the same time, going with a great, expect the grain of salt. It's gonna hurt a little bit. Just
Yeah.
it's gonna be a little disappointing
It could
for
have
most
been.
of you.
Yeah. Oh, here's one random thing. One more random thought. I've always wanted to talk with someone about Disney movies in general, and they totally did in this movie. This is the last thing, and then we'll go into the plot. But I've always loved that during the villain's main song, like one of their big upcoming songs, like not King Magnifico's first song. That song was beautiful.
It really was.
I love that song. Talking about protecting the wishes. Loved it. I think that was a very good song. But King Magnifico's song, This is the Thanks I Get, that was his villain song. So going back, I have always loved that most Disney villain songs, there's always a part where they show the trueness and the unhingedness of the villains.
They show the transition.
Yep. Scar singing his song, there's a part where he is losing it. His mane is going all crazy in the wind. He's just yelling at this point.
Mhm.
That's his unhingedness. When Ursula is stealing Ariel's voice and taking her legs, her eyes start going kind of mad. That's what Ursula really is. Dr. Facilier, when he says, I hope you're satisfied, and the slime goes over him, and you just see his mask and his face kind of transform into some scary, sinister face. That's what he really is. And King Magnifico, at one point, his eyes turn green, his hair goes up, and I'm just like, yep, they kept that going. So
Yeah. Well, and it was very Disney, and I liked that.
it felt Disney. I got every little bits and pieces of Disney that I wanted. Again, I think I kept looking over at Tim because I was like, you are Disney. And, and he was like,
He pointed out every single time one of those callbacks to a movie showed up, he'd look at me and be like, "Did you catch it? Did you see it?"
I'm so sorry. Probably
No,
ruined-
I thought it was great. I thought it was
And
hilarious.
then at the end of the movie, it was going off in order, and I don't think I've lost my touch, but I think I could totally pass a test of writing all the Disney movies in order, because it was pretty awesome.
I think you enjoyed the after credits more than the movie itself.
I did, because they had all those beautiful murals of all the movies, and I was like, so, and then the end with Saba playing When You Wish Upon. When you left, and I was attempting to wash dishes, but I didn't do, I played When You Wish Upon a Star from Pinocchio. Totally listened to it. Again, I am a Disney lover, so this has been a very fun discussion so far, and this was a fun movie for all the Disney lovers out there. And I wish we all would have. I'll admit, though, I don't know if I would have enjoyed it in theaters, but in the comfort of my own home, it was good. Straight to DVD type movie, yeah,
Well, and going into the movie, I'd heard all the critics, all of their stuff. It was a bad movie because this, and this, and I'm like, okay, but what made it a good movie, right? And so I went into the movie looking for both, which most movies I don't do that. Most movies that you and I cover, I go in and I'm like, okay, what mistakes did they make writing this movie? And this movie, for Wish, I kind of wanted to go in with a different attitude of what was really good about the movie, why did it do good, and why did it fail? And I wanted to have both. And that's kind of where I got my version of the plot. There was a point very early on. It was like right after King Magnifico went evil and showed his true colors, and it makes me sad because I really love Chris Pine. His all the characters he plays in any movie he's in, he's always fantastic. Um, and in this movie, it kind of hurt me a little bit because he was a bad guy, and he does such a good job with the good guys. And it also, at the same time, he did such a good job. But I felt like King Magnifico could have been a better good guy than he was a bad guy.
Huh. Okay. I mean,
For me,
I agree with you. I was
Mhm.
rooting. I really was rooting for him.
Yeah, I fully expected him to come around and realize, oh, maybe these wishes aren't mine. I kind of expected the whole ending to be Asha convinces him, hey, you have your wish. Hold on to your wish. Right? And then he'd realize what he'd done and let go, and then it didn't happen.
I really was. Yeah, I was really
But
expecting one of those orbs to come
mhm,
down, like the little star to hold on to one wish near the very end, and it's
it'd be
his.
his.
And
Hmm.
I was expecting him to like, what am I doing? And no, they kind of. I mean, they didn't kill him, but I was like, really? You put him in the? It just, I don't know. It was
Hmm.
disappointing because he had. I truly believe he did have good intentions. He was a man. We don't know
Yeah,
what happened to him, which was nuts. I was like, oh, I want to know more. And
I know.
that to me was a good world building thing because even to this day, I'm like, I need to know what happened to him. What caused
Hmm.
where did he learn his powers? Where did he get oh just so what would you have done to him?
All right. First off, Magnifico would not have been a bad guy
Really?
right off the bat. So I would have started it very similar, right? Asha would have gone in and she'd be attempting to become, she'd have her interview to become the king's apprentice, and she would do well, and we would see the wishes. We'd have that same song, and
So
we'd have Magnifico be more genuine, more caring, more loving, less controlling, um, and maybe a little more hesitant, but and skeptical, but also genuine. Um,
if I can say, I thought it was they were setting him up to be something so good. This man makes a kingdom. He asks for you to give up something so that you can live in freedom, which is ironic because of the world we live in. Many people dream of a world like that. We won't go into that, but it just people would love a utopia. We all would
mhm,
love a utopia. It would be awesome. I would
yeah,
I would love it, but we don't live in a perfect world. Anyway, he he like knows all of them by name. I even asked him because he says, "Oh, Asha, don't touch that." And I'm like, he knows her name, and I know maybe because
uh-huh.
he was told by his wife, but they could have set him up to be this almost omnipotent. Is that the word? This almost like all-knowing, all-powerful man who knows like every single one of his citizens. Takes time to learn them and learn their heart's desires and their wishes.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if he rejected some people because he's like, you will not be good for my kingdom. Your heart is. Anyway, sorry. I just thought that it was just. Ooh.
Yeah.
Or it would have been cool to see an omnipotent, loving character from the greed of his people slowly turn into something. That's what I thought was going to happen. And I kind of did,
Yeah.
but
Kind of.
ooh, there was so much. Sorry, I'm totally interrupting because my brain,
Fine.
it's,
Mhm.
ooh.
No, what I would have had is I would have had, instead of him getting upset at Yasha or at Asha
Yasha.
um for um asking him to grant Sabino's wish, I would have had him be like, you know what? And I'd have them have more conversation, and they'd talk, and he would accept her as his apprentice. And then he would have been like, not this time, but one of the next times I'm gonna have you grant the wish
Oh.
for Sabino.
I would not have made him like 100. But I know that that was the play because it was Disney's 100th birthday. But whatever. It was just, I'm like, he's so old. Like, I get it. He's 99, but like, you've lived your life waiting. Ooh, stuff like that. I was like, that's kind of, you're going to grant a 99-year-old's wish? I don't know. That's why, my brain. Why would you wait while like be betting on your whole life just to figure out something when you could have just gone and been something yourself? And I guess maybe that's the point of the movie. I don't know. Anyway, sorry. So you would have had Asha actually learn to one day.
Yes.
Okay.
I'd have Magnifico his goal be to teach her everything he knows so that they can pass it on. So when he inevitably dies, or when he gets old, then he can pass it on to her.
To be the wish granter or be the queen?
All of the above, to take over for him. And then I would have gone. The next scene was the wish granting ceremony, right? What I would have done is I would have had, the classic Disney trope, the hooded figure in the crowd.
No.
Come up, after, they grant the one wish, and then a hooded figure comes up and pulls back his hood, walks up on stage and uses magic and takes the king's wish.
Oh.
From him, does a bunch of magic stuff, and the light kind of fades from the kingdom, and the kingdom starts to kind of fall apart and go dark and it would be just more sad.
And that definitely fits the Disney trope. That feels like, no, I like that. Coming up, hood figure. So who's the hooded figure? Old apprentice?
My thought is it would be someone who gave a wish, who gave his wish, and then the king promised that he would grant that wish, and then never did. And hold on.
It's his long lost brother. Ooh.
No.
Just kidding. Okay, not that cliche. Okay.
Not quite that cliche.
Okay.
So the word Magnifico in Spanish means magnificent, right?
See.
I like that. I think that's good. Good wordplay. I'm gonna call this guy Represalius, which in Spanish not only does it sound like a Disney villain's name, in Spanish it means retaliation.
That is awesome. Bravo.
Uh-huh.
10 points to Timidor.
I thought it was clever. And what his goal would be is he would be wanting retaliation on the king for not granting his wish. Which I haven't figured out what his wish would be. I don't know. I'm thinking
So
I'm
would
thinking
you?
something along the lines of his greatest wish was to see a loved one, maybe a spouse, um, get better, recover from a sickness, and then before the king can grant the wish, she passes away, and then he's just, Represalius is just angry
So
about it. I don't know.
would you have made it that they forget their wishes?
No,
No.
I would have it be they remember the wish, but they can't really act upon it because they're giving it to someone else to safekeep.
Because that's the one thing that kind of drives me is why would you give up your driving wish? Like what? So there was that woman who wanted to fly, but she still loved the birds.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think she'd still think about, I wish I could fly? It just
Mhm.
doesn't. And of course, there's that Peter Pan character, which was adorable.
I thought that was fun.
And then they never said her name, but we'll just call her Wendy because they do pair them off
I
at
know.
the end of the movie.
I totally thought her name would be Wendy.
In my head, it just makes sense. It is.
It does.
So, but we'll just say that Wendy still wanted to fly. And so I feel like even if he didn't want to inspire, so Saba wanted to inspire people, but you don't think he did? He's 100 years old in that village. He's probably been there. He's probably the oldest citizen. Probably, I wish they could have emphasized on how King Magnifico knew of him very well. And he could have been like a teacher, and he inspired everyone. And King Magnifico could have been like, some of your wishes I didn't need to grant.
Instead of being too afraid to grant them, it would be I didn't need to grant them because you were already gonna do it.
You're gonna do it.
Mhm.
And why should I spoil it and keep that from you? And then it would be cute though if he says he comes up one day to him after some big ceremony. He says, I just want you to know this is your wish. And he holds it out to him. He says, you wanted to inspire, but look what you did. Look. And it shows all his students, all the people he's taught.
Maybe that could be a scene at the end.
Yeah.
That'd
I
be
feel
good.
like if King Magnifico, since he knew all the wishes, he just knew all his citizens. I just feel like he would just know their hearts. He's like, I know you got this. I know you got this. And you don't need, and I can help you fulfill this, but you can do this on your own. You can ask for help. I feel like this is getting way too close to Christianity. Oh, it's yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I think though that how do you say that name again?
Represalius.
Represalius. Is it Represalius or Represalius?
Represalius.
Represalius. Again, I'm really bad with names, and if it's not typically my language, I'm going to struggle. You guys should see me with anime characters. Good gravy. You guys should see me with Brandon Sanderson characters. I struggle. I don't even realize Saba's name was Sabino. Did I say that right?
Sabino.
Sabino.
Mhm.
Anyway, I just feel like he should be. I'm torn. I either wish his wish was either ultimate power or the loved one. And the loved one, though, could you imagine, though? He gives up his wish. I imagine they came on a boat with his sick family because they need to take care of. And he goes, okay, we're gonna get our wishes granted. He didn't really understand. He gives up the wish, and he feels relieved because the wish is kind of taken away. And I imagine he gets home and he goes, I can't wait to tell Mom about how I've paid for us to stay, and we have safe passage. We get to live here. And he opens the door, and his mother's gone. And then that's when it snaps in his head what his wish was, and King Magnifico failed him, and all this stuff. And so, what would King Magnifico's wish be?
I think his wish would be. So my thought for this is his greatest wish would be to have a safe place where everybody can be happy and be able to explore their wishes and act upon their wishes. And so when Represalius steals his wish and crushes it,
What if you crush
Maybe-
the wishes? The opposite comes true.
that's what I was thinking. He crushes it, crushes the
Everything
wish,
starts to crumble.
and everything starts to fall apart. And then,
Because who made King Magnifico's wish true? Not his magic.
Mhm.
I mean, in a way he did, but I don't feel like he can like grant the wish. He just uses his power to help them. I don't think he can actually make someone fly. But he is a sorcerer, so that's what I don't
He is.
know.
well, I'm gonna
Yes,
do the
yes,
classic
please, 'cause
Tim
I-
and go
'cause I
D&D.
think- Because I actually had a question about sorcerers, wizards,
Mhm.
all this stuff. So please help us understand this.
What King Magnifico is doing in the movie is he's understanding the wish, and if what I think is going on is if he doesn't think he can grant the wish, if he doesn't think his magic can grant the wish in some way, then he's not going to worry about it, right? Being able to inspire someone, that's not something he can do with magic. There's no spell that he can cast on Sabino that's going to make him inspire someone. That's all innate. That comes from him, from deep within, right? There's others, right? The woman who was going to be the best seamstress in the world, he's just using a spell, maybe create, to fabricate giant scissors that she can use, and then
you think
she's
they
just
were
being
magic?
confident. Maybe, yeah.
See, that's
Possible.
that's what bugs me. Is like how does he get all these wishes? And the thing is, some of the people wish for like true love, and of course everyone wishes for true love. And if I give up that wish, if I meet the love of my life on my own,
Mhm.
will King Magnifico go, well, I have your wish, you can't have it come true. That's what a dream is, a wish your heart makes, you know?
Yeah.
And I just think that the point this movie was going to make is that they are all stars. They all have their own wish. And it was cute because
Mhm.
all of them had, at the end of the movie, they had a star glowing on their chest. And I was like, oh, that's just a big call out, in my opinion, to Cinderella.
Mhm.
Because I don't think Cinderella really had... What was her wish? Just to get out of her castle, to be something more? If she gave up her wish to King
Yeah.
Magnifico, in the movie version, would she have just been content, stayed at home, and just kept serving her evil stepmother? Or would
Mhm.
her fairy godmother still have come and given her the opportunity? Which I just totally now imagine in some weird way. I just see Asha as the fairy godmother for some reason. And just really cute. I
Mhm.
just imagine her just older in a beautiful like blue outfit and like, hi darling. And you're like, ooh.
Yeah.
And I imagine her as like the blue fairy from Pinocchio. And I'm like, anyway. Sorry. Again, I love this sort of stuff. So I feel like I want to call him Rasputin, but that's not it. Which I think, isn't Rasputin like a weird Russian version of, anyway, retaliation, right?
Represalius.
Represalius.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna call him retaliation. Just kidding.
It sounds so Disney.
It does, and it sounds like a perfect villain. I feel like he would be the one crushing all the wishes. He would be the one like, if I can't have my wish, no one can. You're a liar, King Magnifico. You can, and that would be kind of the cheesy point at the end of the movie is King Magnifico doesn't grant your wishes. We do.
Mhm.
And I know that sounds very cheesy. Y'all are probably rolling your eyes, but that really, we are the people that can do that. If it's something unseemly and positive, it would have been really cute if King Magnifico walked up to some people and he came like to her with a big glider and said, let's go give this a try. And it shows Wendy and Peter flying at the end of the movie. Like, it's,
I'm imagining like in my version that instead of granting the wish, right, at the wish granting ceremonies, he's just giving some people a little bit of a head start
Yeah.
to help them, right? Like the scissors, right? This woman didn't know where to start, so he's giving her a pair of maybe magic scissors that will help her make perfect cuts so that she has that little bit of a head start so that she can sew the most beautiful dresses in the land. And maybe the Peter and Wendy, he grants them the wish by providing materials, and maybe Da Vinci's book, Da Vinci's notebook or something. I don't know, something like that, something that can give them a little bit of a head start.
So I'm guessing would you still have had the little star?
Huh?
Would you still have had the little star?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So here's how I would have it be. Represalius will come in. He'll crush the king's wish. The kingdom will start to fall apart, and he's like, "Good luck running your kingdom now," and will walk away. And king will stay in charge, but he can't keep people safe. He can't help people grant their wishes anymore. He's lost his magic. He can't grant wishes. He can't fulfill his wish because it's gone. And Asha will... Originally, I was thinking Asha could agree with the new guy and think, maybe King Magnifico shouldn't have all our wishes. Maybe we should have them. And then she'd realize later. But I think I just have her be on King Magnifico's side the whole time.
I wouldn't mind
in this
having
version.
him at one point. After struggling, we're starting to see that darker Magnifico. I wouldn't mind that, because his wish has been crushed. His kingdom's falling apart.
See, I would have King Magnifico in my version. I'd have him act a little more like the queen, where she is just trying her best to keep everybody happy, and she's just doing her best, and I'd have that be the same thing with King Magnifico.
Would you have the singing animals?
I don't know, maybe. No, actually, the way that that Star comes in is a little different. I would have the singing animals at some point just to keep the 100 years of Disney vibe. I would still keep the...
You'd have King Candy be the little Valentino goat.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love when he talks in that, like, I fly, like his very regal voice. I love when he talks like that. And then coming out of a little 3-week-old baby goat, like, oh, chickens. I love chickens. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. But I loved it.
Yeah. I'd still have all the callbacks to the previous movies. What I would do is I would have Represalius going around, and he'd be taking people's wishes, looking at them, and be like, you realize you can't achieve this, and then he'd crush it and walk away. And we'd see Asha going around, and he'd do that to Asha's mom, right? Because the King Magnifico in the movie crushes her mom's wish.
I really wish I would have known what it was.
I know, right?
Something cheesy, like just I wish my daughter would something great. I want my because she probably, she gave up when she was 18, or maybe they moved there. No, they could have done so many things, but I was really expecting, like, it would have been adorable for, like, I wish my children would grow up to be something special.
Yeah.
And it's like, that happened regardless of you having that wish.
Mm-hmm.
I totally had a thought. Ooh, no, we'll get to it. It's fine. I actually have, like, an idea for later.
Okay.
Well, actually, I guess I can throw this out now. What if Represalius kind of starts being that darker odium type wish granter? Give me, what if people start seeing that this great magic man, this man of retaliation, is full on like inspiring a lot of other people. Like, you know what? Yeah, King Magnifico took away our wishes. You know, he took away, like, and he could have, like, that's the kind of twisting he's telling them. He took your wishes. You can't do anything without your wishes. What are you without your wishes? Take them back. Or anything. Just, and what if people came up to him with their wishes after they, like, kind of raid the castle? Like, I totally would imagine them, like, storming the castle. And, like, I just want that dark Simon Knight again.
Yeah.
And I would love for... Ooh, Tim, how do you say it? Represalius for him and Simon to make the deal. Because when he realizes that he wants to be King Magnifico's best knight, but yet King Magnifico can't fulfill that, he comes up to him and says, can you make my wish come true? Can I be your greatest knight? And then when Represalius kind of tries a few things, he grants it, but kind of like in the movie, this dark green light comes and takes the wish over.
It's like a twisted
version
of the wish.
twisted wish comes true, and he wakes up and his eyes light. Like, I feel like two different characters would be perfect for this. Because you have people getting instant gratification for their wish with Represalius, or you have people working and hopeful with King Magnifico.
Yeah.
And you have the two names.
You have the cheap knockoff of the wish. That's just the quick, immediate, right? Like I'll take,
Imagine Wendy.
Take the true
Imagine
love.
Wendy started flying.
Yeah. Well, I'm imagining like the true love version or the true love wish, right? Twisted version of that could be an unhappy marriage. You find love, but it's not true love, but it's something.
It's something.
You'll be unhappy, but you've got something. Maybe
He's-
one-sided.
He's sitting there and he finds two different people. Oh, you wish for true love, you wish for love. Oh, here, merges their wishes together. You're both in love. And they're like, oh, and they have like a little ceremony right then and there. Later in the movie, we see them like unhappy. They're like crouched over. It's not working. Why isn't this working? Why aren't we happy? You're not what I want. You're not what I want. That's a very, that would have hit really hard for some people. That's a little too deep.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's okay, because this is a Disney movie. It's supposed to be deep sometimes. Could you imagine Wendy and Peter, and they're like flying, and it's like, oh, we can fly, we can fly, we can fly, we can, and they like slap into something because they don't know how to control it.
Yeah.
Be awesome. I feel like I kind of like that, and I still want that to tie in, but I feel like people turning to him and he's just struck with this power of, can you make our wishes come true? Because
Yeah.
King Magnifico can't. I feel like that still fits his name.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea better than him just going around crushing people.
Because that still would fit the Disney vibe of like,
It would.
make your wishes come true. And it's like, but sometimes wishes aren't all that they're cracked up to be. Instant gratification of your wishes is not that's not real life. That's not the fairy tale happy ending. And I know a lot of Disney movies kind of had that, but as we've gotten older with Disney, most of our wishes come true by us. Baymax and Hero, he didn't get his brother back, but he got something.
Yeah.
He still has his brother to some degree. Moana wanted to explore the world. She had to do it herself. And she saved the heart of Nefiti. So, Tefiti. Thank you. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think I really like that character, Tim.
Like I said, I'm proud of this guy. I'm proud of this
You were
idea.
right. You were like, I think you'll like this character. And the thing is, his song would be called Desperate Times Call for Desperate Measures.
I like it. Yes.
Because that one line is probably one of my favorite parts. And they just kind of brush it aside. King Magnifico is like, I swore I'll never do this. I promised I would never do this. Desperate times call for desperate measures. And you're like, oh, what just happened?
And maybe Represalius can have the book. Maybe someone brings him the book from Magnifico's castle, and then he starts to use it. Desperate times call for desperate measures. He creates that staff, and maybe he's the one that gets trapped inside and becomes the magic mirror.
Oh, I believe wholeheartedly it would be the. You know what bugged me? Sorry, I'm gonna go back to. There was two things that bugged me. They made King Magnifico be like, oh, he cares all about his looks and he's in the mirror all the time. And like, okay, it wasn't like that at the very beginning. You guys kind of forced that idea later on. And then also the queen is like, he's obsessed with one thing, his crown. I'm like, King Magnifico doesn't wear a crown. That line does not work for me, and I don't see it. And it's like, I get what you're saying, but he's not obsessed with his crown. He's obsessed with power. This version, he generally just doesn't want people to be that orphan child who lost his parents. And I just want one scene. Of his wife opening the door to somewhere, and we just see King Magnifico crying, and just somehow we just get this image of this young queen come stumbling along this boy, and they both went on this journey after losing their parents in some horrible fire or something. Whatever happened, they got raided, and they were both orphans of this and grew up to become the king and queen. That's how I wrote this in my head.
We could totally have it. Could be a musical number.
I know, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
My thought is this song, it could be something about building up. Right? Talk about building up, and it could start with the tragedy or it could start with happiness, two families living happily, loving each other, hanging out all the time. And then tragedy hits, and then there's two orphans, a boy and a girl, and they come together, they travel the land together, running from the fire, and they come to Rosas, the island of Rosas, and they build up a kingdom together, and from the fire, from the ashes, they build up a new kingdom. The ashes of their past, they build up into the foundations of their future, something like that, become the king and queen. I think that would be really cool.
What I imagine the last part of the line, I don't know what the words are to this song, I can't hear any music, but the last part would just be like they're holding each other close, and this isn't trying to be seductive. She places his hands on her chest, and she goes, and she thinks of her wish, because she never did. She's like, do you know why I never gave you my wish? And he pulls it out, and all it is just them together. And it's a perfect mirror image.
I love that
so it
so
just
much.
shows, she's like, my wish was you,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what.
I love that so much.
So
I love that so much.
it just that would be so cool. And I feel like during this time, Asha and her, I do love the callback to the 7 dwarf characters.
I thought that was cool. We could have them.
And I
still be a
really
thing.
do want Simon to become that Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I'd really love that part. Got me when King Magnifico's chasing Asha, and he goes, Asha, did you really think you could changes King Magnifico or whatever he said? I was like, oh, I did not see that coming. I was like, oh, and I was like, I love it. And that was, to me, that was well done. But I do want her to get that wand. Yeah. I want her to be battling him, and she's working, and
I want the wand. I want the wand to be a bigger deal. I want her using magic to be a little bit of a bigger deal, because it was mentioned a few times, right? Magic cast by anybody but the king is forbidden, yada yada yada, and it's mentioned like once or twice, and then she ends up with the wand, but it's never made like a huge deal or anything. I think that I would want
So I kind of imagine King Magnifico is in it every now and then. We do have important scenes with him, but I do want this to be Asha's story because I really I loved Asha as a Disney character. I think she's right up there with Rapunzel and Anna, these like brand new female lead character. She fit right like Mulan. I feel like she could sit down with all these women at a table and she belongs there. I loved Asha. I thought she was very well done. I just felt that they just didn't do her story justice, and I feel like now that we have these two characters and we have this main character, she can either decide which way to go. Because I feel like she agrees with...
You got it.
No, I don't. One sec. Nope, I don't got it.
Represalius.
Represalius. I tried.
You're good.
Like racking my brain. I feel like she would agree with Represalius some things. Like, like, oh yeah, maybe we should never give away our wishes. This is stupid. Like, he can't. Like, I just feel like there would definitely be a scene with him calling her out. She gets the wand. She's like kind of helping people feel better. She's like actually like fulfilling wishes. And I feel like the king, honestly, I feel like there would be a scene with him like magic is forbidden in Rojas. Not Rojas.
Roses.
Rojas. What is Rojas?
Reds.
Reds? No magic allowed in red. Okay, then I'll wear blue. Jeez, I'm just kidding. Make it blue.
Make it pink.
I think I would, because of King Magnifico kind of struggling, his kingdom's falling apart, everyone is literally retaliating against him. I would have that scene of him breaking. He sees her, she comes up, I have the solution, I have the star, he sees the light, and then he kicks her out.
I have a different way of Star coming in.
Okay. Oh yeah, we never talked about how you came with Star. So
my idea
sorry. Wow, we went off on a big tangent.
I really love your scene with the queen coming in. I think Asha goes to the queen and she's like, let me go talk to him real quick. And then the queen walks in and we have that whole beautiful scene, seeing them together.
So I imagine that near the end of the movie. Where are you imagining that scene?
I'm imagining this happening like right after all the looting and stuff. We can see my thought here is
Oh wait, I just have one scene that just hit me now that you said that. I imagine that, there's because you said looting, I imagine there's fires, there's burning, and he looks up and sees a portrait of him and his wife, and it's burnt the same way as his parents' little portrait in his chambers, and he just
and
breaks.
That's what
That's
breaks
the
him.
breaking
I like
point.
it. I like it.
Gosh.
I like it. And I
Oh
think
man.
transition from that, okay? We have that, and Queen walks in and he's crying and he's holding the picture, and then the Queen starts to sing, and then the picture animates and they grow younger, and then we we have that song.
That backstory.
I love the backstory idea through that song. It's a beautiful idea. So we do that. The song finishes, and King Magnifico kind of stands up a little straighter, and he hugs his wife, and he's like, I can't do this alone. And then she's like, well, good, because I brought someone who can help. And then she motions for Asha to come in, and then the king and Asha end up talking, and the king is like, I don't have my powers. I can't teach you. I can't teach you magic. We can't do this alone. And then they'll go, like, they'd be in the little observatory where the wishes were held. And it'll be nighttime, and they'll look up at the sky, and they'll both, say, I wish I may, I wish I might.
Aww.
The classic. And then Star would appear to all three of them. To the king, the queen, and Asha. And
I really was expecting... I'm so sorry for... Nope, you go. You finish your thought. Please, I'm so sorry. Go.
No, you're good. Star will show up, and we'll have this whole thing, and the king will be like, we have a star, we have a means of achieving our wishes now, and fighting back and fixing what Represalius has done to damage my kingdom. And then
Oh, sorry. Random tangent. I'm so sorry, Tim. I'm
No,
so
you're good.
sorry. This is going to be... You're going to
Willem
cry.
was just, for those of you who are
Oh
listening,
my
Willem was just,
gosh.
while I'm talking, he's on the laptop looking stuff up, and I just see him go, he just like, his eyes get wide, his jaw drops and throws his hands up in the air, and he starts hyperventilating.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. So I just figured out I would change the song. They already have a song that's perfect for the couple song.
Mm-hmm.
It would be the stupid At All Costs song, the one that we both like. Listen to the lyrics.
The first one,
the one with King Magnifico and
protecting
Asha. Okay, listen to it, but I want you to. This is the Queen singing to him. Okay, he's crying, whatever. We're not gonna get in trouble because I'm reading lyrics, and that is perfectly legal. So whatever. Nope, we're fine. If happiness was a tangible thing, it would be you. If you'd have told me that feeling you'd bring, I'd think it untrue. And people search for a wonder like you all their lives. You still amaze me after all this time. You pull me in like some kind of wind, mesmerized the hold I'm in. Leave you here, I don't want to. Promise as one done, I will protect you at all costs. Keep you safe here in my arms. I will protect you at all costs. And I would switch Asha's lines to King Magnifico. What pain when I look at you, no way I could explain you. Even if I tried to, I'll never dream like I used to do. If someone tried to hurt you, I don't see how that could happen. I'd fight for you in ways you can't imagine. Felt this? No, I haven't. I hope it would be all right to stay right here beside you. And then the song would be, and promise as one does, I will protect you at all costs. Keep you safe here in my arms. I will protect you at all costs. And it's like, perfect!
I love it. I love it.
Oh! Anyway, just...
I love it.
Oh! That would have fit so good for that immediately when I went on an ADHD sidetrack because I was like, wait a minute, they already have the song for it. It's... Oh!
I'm gonna cry.
Sorry, Tim. Go back to where you were at. This is going to be chaotic but awesome. I am...
love it.
Whew, I'm going to cry. Oh. So, they call upon Star. I really like how the idea of them calling Star, and I think it would be so cute if Star would have been what helped the king and queen in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm imagining, Star shows up and unable to help the king learn magic again. Star grants Asha the ability, gives Asha that wand. After a moment, maybe instead of Star giving the wand, maybe it's the king. And he pulls out a wand, just a nice, beautiful, thin, white wand, and holds it out to Star. Star, sprinkles it with fairy dust, and it begins to float for a second, and then Asha takes it and is able to use some magic, and I think that would be really cool.
So I think... So, I kind of want to mix... I want to ask for not a reprisal, a kind of in-between moment, because I feel like that song at the end, that moment for King Magnifico would be what helps him get his powers back, him realizing he still has it, and him helping Asha win the fight.
I like that. Actually, we'll stick that song after. So we'll stick that song after. So it's just the king and Asha. The queen is somewhere else. Star comes, and then later Asha goes because the king doesn't have magic. He can't fight. Asha goes to retaliate against Represalius.
That's funny.
And then stuff is happening. We'll have a sequence where she goes in and maybe she watches as Simon becomes that dark knight, and then she ends up fighting Simon, and then we can cut back to the king after some comment like where is Magnifico when you really need him, and then he can be back crying, because he saw the painting, some sequence like
So
that.
I have a sequence idea for you. Kind of. So I still vote. I think I'm going to offer this sequence, and I still want to get Star in somehow, and maybe it will be just without the king entirely. So here's my train of thought, and then I'm going to kind of go with Represalius? Is that how you would say? Anyway, Represalius is kind of timeline right now, because here's how I would think it would happen. So because he was angry, he learned magic as well. It was a darker, more evil magic. He stole, King Magnifico's dark book. Maybe that could have been kind of a thing. He's like, the last time I had an apprentice. So I feel like if he was a possibility to be an apprentice, and he had his sick mother, and he's like, I want to change my wish. I want something. I wish like that is something like if you really value me as whatever, like something like that. Or in any way he gets the book from who knows what, just some whatever dark entities out there in this type of world. Because if there's good magic, there's evil magic. I feel like that could work either way. But either way, Represalius soon realizes that he can use dark magic to also grant wishes. And he just starts selfishly granting everyone's wishes. He's making his own. He's making. What is Rosas just rose?
Roses.
Yeah, roses. So now, Tim, what would be the evil? What's thorn in Spanish?
Oh, what is thorn in Spanish?
Because I feel like that is what he would call his kingdom.
Oh. Okay.
So he starts making his own, and everyone, he's like, I will grant your wish. Come to me, and you will get your wishes granted. And everyone just starts getting their wishes granted. And I want to, for anyone who's seen...
I'm dumb. It's espinas.
Oh. Nope, I think it works.
It's like spines. Espinas.
Espinas. I like to play on words. I feel like that would be fun.
I like it.
So I feel like in this new world of Espinas, he's just granting wishes. And for anyone who's seen Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey gets the power of God, and and it's prayers, not wishes, but we'll go with it. And at one point, Bruce is sick of listening to prayers and everything, and he just goes, everyone gets all their prayers answered. Everything you want, fine. And the world goes to crap in like 15 minutes. I want a scene very similar to that with Represalius' kingdom. Immediately we just see turmoil. It's not working. So it's funny because the way they all retaliated and left that wonderful home of Rosas, they never even get peace in this place. No one is finding peace. Everyone is already unhappy. And I just said his name and now I lost it. Represalius is realizing he's now just starting to get angry, and he's now just, I feel like he's going to just start just taking wishes now.
This could be where he's crushing wishes.
Yep. He's
I
just
like that.
whatever.
I like that
taking
idea.
it,
He's
crushing it,
wishes
and then he's
now.
like, what is this power? And he's just like, you're done. You're done. And he's just taking everyone's power.
You're done.
You're done. You're done. You don't get no wishes. And I feel like that would be his timeline. So I feel like I still really want, though, I'm thinking, because I really want there to be a part where Magnifico can't stand anyone. Because everyone retaliates, everyone hates him. He's like, fine, leave, go there. And everyone retaliates. It's hard. And then when Asha comes, maybe with the wish, the star, still don't know how he would fit in. You know, he just kicks her out. He's like, even you, I said magic is forbidden. You're just like him. You're just like him. Get out of my kingdom. Give me the wand. And she's like, no, no. I just feel like there should be just that one point where this man she looks up to rejects him. He rejects everyone, snaps at his wife, everyone, and then that's when he like goes up, and then she realizes, I need to do this myself. They help with the little star. They have a little music. They've had a musical number with all the talking animals. It's great, and I want her to. And it's so funny that we've been all like, we've been talking about Magnifico and his polar opposite. So now we need to, I feel like now we need to work on Asha's story, what it would do. And I wish there would be more fighting in between her and all of her friends. I definitely would love the part with Simon just disappearing at one point, you know, sleepy Simon. Like, isn't he sleeping? And they turn, and he's gone. And then it shows him dragging his feet to... Crap, I just forgot his name again.
Represalius. You've said it like 20 times.
I know.
I
get nervous. I get nervous with names. So I feel like I still want that scene with Represalius. I just don't know what to do with Asha now, and that's kind of the sad thing, is I feel like we've got this great middle ground. And I just feel like Asha's journey would be very similar to what we saw in the movie. She wants to grant her, you know, grandfather's wish, or her great-grandfather. I don't know.
Grandpa.
He's really old to be her grandpa. If
Well,
she's
that's
17, I'm like, geez, that's really old. That's like Coco and Miguel. You know, I'm like, geez, that's a big difference. Anyway, sorry. Regardless, it doesn't matter. Maybe he was really old when he had kids. Oh. Oh, sorry, my brain is starting to ooze out. But I feel like we've kind of gotten like the gist of it. I really like. I just feel I can see everything. I can feel that. I can see the opening ceremony gets interrupted, Maleficent style. You know, they possibly have a song then. I don't know, but just him kind of yelling at him, judging him.
Oh, maybe when Represalius shows up in the beginning, he does some musical number where he reveals his story, and he calls Magnifico a traitor and a failure, and calls him out. And that can be when, you know, he's like, Magnifico can't grant your wishes, go take them for yourselves.
Magnificent is nothing. Magnificent, more like a tyrant.
Something like that, yeah. I don't know. I'm not a songwriter, so I can't.
No.
Yeah.
I don't want to have the Disney police coming in with their ears breaking down my door, please. Like, oh! So
Right.
Oh, get on the ground! No. Sorry. But what would cause Asha to wish upon the star in this version?
My thought is when Asha and the king are talking, they both just they want things to be better. They want people to be able to fulfill their wishes the right way, rather than going for the cheap knockoffs like Represalius is offering. And
what if they're both singing a song at the same time? They're in separate places, and then they both look up into the sky.
Maybe
the all of Rosas is doing it.
Maybe here's a thought. Maybe Asha is climbing the stairs and they're singing. And so King Magnifico's in his observatory and Asha is climbing and they're singing. And as Asha gets closer, they continue to sing. And then when she kind of comes into the room, they kind of finish off the song with, by wishing upon the star, and then star shows up.
Okay.
Something like that.
No,
Because
okay.
I really want Asha and King Magnifico to witness Star showing up in the first place.
Maybe there's
And we have Valentino with them as well. And
maybe we can mention that
I don't know.
the people of Rosas believed in wishing upon stars, but they kind of lost that habit due to having King Magnifico.
Yeah.
And what would be funny is, I feel like this might be, here's my idea, and you can tell me if it's dumb or not, but that beautiful song ends, and the star appears, and Magnifico just is kind of mad.
Mm-hmm.
He's just mad because he would have done anything for a star to come down. He heard rumors, legends, everything.
And when he didn't get it,
And he had to do his own thing.
did his own.
So now, after his kingdom is starting to retaliate, after everything, you now show up. Or maybe he's like, no, this is perfect. You can stop everything. You can solve everything. Go and get Represalius. Defeat him. And the little star's like, oh. Looks at him like,
Mm-hmm.
but no, that's not my job. And she's like, no, I think we need to do it. He's like, no, this is the star. It's supposed to make our wishes come true. And he's just yelling at this thing. Go stop him. Make everything better. Bring me back my magic. Why can't I have it? He's like starting to get mad. And he's like, Your Majesty, he's here to help us. We have to go with him. And he's like, I'm using, and I feel like he is so scared without his magic. That could be it.
Okay.
Or positive side becomes the D&D type of king. Go with, I will try to handle things in the kingdom. You take Star. And you go be the hero.
I think I'm gonna go back to what I originally had, where he is afraid and doesn't have his magic, so he's just gonna stay behind, and he'll see the painting burning, and that's what's gonna break him. And
I feel like I don't feel like we need to see an angry king. We just need to see a, because
broken.
Yep. The angry king that we see in the movie, we will just put all of that into
Represalius.
Yeah. We don't need Magnifico. We just need to see him broken, defeated, because his wish was crushed and shattered.
Mm-hmm.
And he... Yeah, I feel like that really does work. And I feel like that would... I don't feel like so that song would happen. She goes off for an adventure. The king is trying to help people, and people are still trying to come to him. They come up to the castle, and when they finally truly realize the king is just useless to them. But which would make me mad if this really happened, because then it's like, do the people of Rosas deserve to have him when he's resolved? So now I guess we should ask, what would be the ending?
Here's what I'm thinking. We could have a similar situation where Represalius is up on a tower and he's using magic, and he's bound everyone to the ground with their wishes, by their wishes. He's using their wishes against them to hold them down. They can't do anything about it. And I want Magnifico to show up, and he'll, Represalius will say something to the effect of, "You ruined my chances of having my wish come true. It's your fault." And Magnifico will say, "No, I had no control over your wish. Your wish is yours, not mine. And you can you can have a new wish, a better wish, like me. My wish, my greatest wish, used to be that I would, my wife and I would have a safe place where anybody could have wishes and be able to pursue them in safety. My greatest wish right now is that my people are safe, and then he can manifest a new wish.
Oh,
And that would, I guess, fix the king,
I
and then
really,
he'd have his magic back and he'd be able to do his thing, and Represalius would be angry, and you can't just create a new wish, man, and the king would be like, you know what, I can though, because wishes change, people change under circumstances and through life, and my greatest wish right now is that my people are safe, my kingdom is safe from you. And then they can have like this epic duel, you can do the Harry Potter thing where they both have the magic beams meet in the middle or whatever. I don't know, do something cool, and then Represalius would make some mistake and he would end up being trapped in the mirror. And then they would, and then Magnifico would say, my people are safe now. My greatest wish is to build a new place for people to be safe. And then they build, and they can work together with the kingdom, and we can see him with his wife and with Asha and with Sabino and the friends and Simon and everybody, and they're all, they're rebuilding the castle, they're rebuilding their homes, and they're rebuilding market stalls, etc. And it could just be kind of cool. I don't know. I kind of want. I love that Asha is kind of the focus in the actual movie, but in my version, I kind of like King Magnifico being more of the focus.
I kind of want to pull a Gandalf card. I want there to be Asha as the Frodo, like she is the MacGuffin of it all, and there's just this side story. Because Gandalf, we all usually think of Gandalf when we think of Lord of the Rings. Even though Frodo is the main character, we all think of Gandalf, and I kind of want that character to be King Magnifico. And I would love Asha to be kind of trying to sing that song, which we never talk about what her wish was going to be. They never really said that, did they? And I think Asha just wants to help wishes come true.
I like that.
No, I really think that's what her wish was. She wanted to help people's wishes come true.
I really like that. I think you're right. I think that would be her wish. I think that was her wish.
And so with that in mind, we have this story. We have her struggling. I imagine a very scary scene with Simon. Like, it's supposed to be like a chase scene with Represalius. I want to say like weird names and everything. But I do want that. I want more of an intense fight scene, not fight, but more of a kind of scary, possessed Simon to be like, I'm going to be the greatest knight he'll ever have. Almost like a darker Prince Philip.
Yeah.
His sword glows like the truth, like the sword of truth, and the shield of, I forgot the names. I'll have to look at that later. But I want there to be the staff versus the wand. And everyone's like trying to, help her, but everyone is kind of defeated. And I do want her to have that song, so I'll make this wish. I really thought that was a cute song.
All of the songs in this movie were great.
They were. They really.
The only one that I thought was a little weird was the animals one.
but you got to have the.
But it was just because it was the animals.
It's like the gargoyle song from Hunchback of Notre Dame. It really doesn't fit in the movie, but you have it in there for the little kids, It's like the trolls from Frozen. Fixer Upper doesn't really fit, but whatever. Are you dying?
I slept on my shoulder.
Oh, that's right. You're getting old, Tim. You're getting old. But I think what would be awesome is I imagine that we have that beautiful song with King Magnifico, and then after the fight is kind of going, the fight's begun, whatever. He's crying. He's like, I'm a failure. My kingdom's going. He's like watching from his, like, the queen sees it from one tower and tries to find him. And when she finally finds him, he's in that huddled position holding that. And then after they finish the song, he goes, when she reveals his wish and kind of they share it together, because it was the same wish in a way, we see his hands start to glow. He goes, we need to go. And, the fight's getting intense, whatever. And then finally, when she's, like, starting to lose, like, Harry Potter style, the wand is like, breaking. This just blast comes, and we just see him holding his own staff, and he's holding his wife's hand as well.
I like it. And that his staff could be a mirror of the mirror staff.
Yeah.
It could be... that could be cool. It could be, like the difference between the Gandalf and Saruman staff.
Yeah. It just things like that. Since we've already brought up sorcerers and wizards, I've been totally, like, honestly, I've been imagining him as, Saruman. I'm just imagining that kind of dynamic of, they're both have just to a means, except one just lost his way.
Yeah,
we've had our own discussions about Saruman and how he's very tragic.
Oh, he's very tragic.
But we'll talk about it another day. But I really I would love for him to be like, oh crap! Oh my gosh, Tim! I want to call him like Sorrento because stupid Ready Player One was on at the gym yesterday, and that's all I've imagined in my head. Oh, or I want to call him like Sarabino, and I'm like, that's not his name either.
Represalius.
It's not even close. And I just spat all over my microphone. Represalius. Wow, guys. Represalius. Stupid pen. Okay, cool. Now I won't forget it. Now that I've written down, I have to sometimes see things. I can't just hear things. Hooray for ADHD. Represalius will do the whole, Disney thing. How was this possible? And he's like, the power of love. Just kidding. But kind of. He's like, I realized that I made my wish come true. I made a safe haven, but you came and threatened it. But as my lovely queen has reminded me, it's always inside us, and you just can't crush that. You can't crush that. And I would love for him to just pull it out, and it's just new, and it's a new wish, and it's like exactly how you said. It's just the kingdom being better. And he's like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't help your mother. There's no changing that. And you could have been something better. And, that's when they could have had, like, a great song. Asha finally, gets her opening, beats him into pieces, just using her fist, getting all bloody. I'm just kidding, no. But that took a really dark turn.
It did.
But they are able to send him back. And I think him becoming, I would imagine him, where they're fighting is like on top of that roof, and I would have imagined there would have been this mirror that he was turning to a lot, talking to himself, and maybe some dark entities were like talking back to him. I don't know. But either way, I do want a mirror. It's cheesy, but you always have to have a mirror in a bad guy's lair.
Oh, you're not wrong.
And he gets shot into it. And finally, after everyone's all hugging, whatever, the king looks over and he sees like this green flash go over the mirror, and he walks up to it. And, all of a sudden that green face from Snow White appears. And we're just like, whoa! I was really expecting King Magnifico to turn into the evil mirror, so I want that to happen to Represalius. That's the origin. And I think what I would have is everyone's repairing, and King Magnifico would have him there because he's realized that Represalius is something more now after dealing with all that magic. You know, we see him go up to the wall and say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," and you know, his face appears, and it kind of would change to a different scene of Asha, and it would open to a ceremony, not really of a ceremony, but yeah, it would be Asha's ceremony. And he goes, "Dear Asha, I want you to think of your wish in your heart, but I want you to realize something already. You've already done it." And she goes, "What do you mean?" "I know what your wish is, sweetie." And they pull it out together, and he goes, "You want wishes to come true?"
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the little star would come up and bring up the new wand. And it's kind of just hinted that she becomes a fairy godmother. She goes, "Well, what about, I thought all magic was prohibited. I mean, like, not illegal. What do you call it? Prohibited? Is that the word?"
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "No." He goes, "You know, that used to be, but times are changing. But you fully are able to, you deserve this more than anyone else." And
Yeah.
the star agrees, like, kind of nudges her. And they're like, and you know, I would do a cheesy thing, you know, like, "What would be the magical words?" And like, I don't know. And then Stu, the dopey character, would be like, "What if something silly like bibbity bobbity boo?" And Asha's like, "You know what? I kind of like that."
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, "Huh, bibbity, bobbity," and then it would just go black. And that'd be the end of the movie, in my opinion.
I like it. I honestly, that version of the movie might be my favorite remake of any movie we've ever done.
Yeah,
It's pretty darn good.
might be cheesy, and if we ever get to a point where we could have cast readings, you are allowed to do fan stuff. I would do a cast reading of this.
I agree.
This would be probably the first one. I think the second one I would do is the Coraline sequel.
Yeah.
But if we ever did a cast reading, this one would be one that I would write.
Yeah.
But we probably couldn't do songs, though. So no songs. We would just do cast readings. Unless we write our own songs. But the thing is, the King and Queen one is, you know, what one I want.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I know this was very sporadic. And this might honestly remind you guys of some of our older episodes. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I was telling Tim yesterday, I actually was like pumped for today. I was excited for today.
Yeah, me too. Honestly, this episode it was a fun one to do. I was really skeptical about the movie, and I didn't care for it. And then I never actually. I went home and I started writing more and more of my rewrite that we talked about. And the farthest I got to was when Star shows up. And so everything from that point on, and probably about 50% of what we did before that, was just us spitballing ideas that we thought would be fun. And it worked out really well.
This episode is truly what I wanted this podcast to be.
Mm-hmm.
This all right here, just straight up talking about a movie pitch.
Yeah.
And we've done that a few times, but this to me is the essence of what this podcast is, and I think it's wonderful that it's our 40th official episode.
Yeah.
So, oh wow, it's almost been a year.
It's almost been a year. We're almost at 50.
Yeah. We gotta get our one surprise all ready for them.
Yeah, we do have a surprise coming for our episode 50. And
I need to figure out when that is, because I have a trip coming, so I gotta figure out.
You guys probably have some semblance of an idea of what it's going to end up being, but we're going to keep you in the dark. So if you don't know, then you don't know.
If you don't know,
you'd be surprised.
Now you will know. That was terrible.
I
was trying to quote a song, but I can't quote it because it's a very explicit song. So, but if you don't know, now you know. Anyway, everybody, thank you so much for coming to this episode, and we hope you enjoyed it. I'm definitely gonna. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Tim, great job with
Thanks.
that villain. That I was really like, I have no idea how to do a villain, and you made up a wonderful. At least you kickstarted us into making such a great. That's a Disney villain.
Yeah.
Represalius would easily be a Disney villain, and they can fight us on that. But he was easily a Disney villain, and I'm sorry if we didn't really do Asha the justice she deserved this one. I think we just wanted to really fix King Magnifico and make a villain.
Yeah.
Asha really is. I like how Asha was. There wasn't much to change. Her spirit is exactly how I would have done it in the movie. I just don't know how she would interact with these two characters.
Yeah, I don't know. I just my biggest gripe with the movie was King Magnifico, and now I think we fixed it.
We've made him magnificent.
We've made it magnificent. We've made him magnificent. Magnificent Magnifico. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Will and I had a lot of fun with this one.
Yeah.
And until next time, be kind to each other, love each other, hold on to those wishes, try to make them come true. And we'll see you later, pitches.
Bye. Can't sing or we'll get sued.